We love the hog mollies on this channel, and as I wrap up my prospect rankings for the 2024 NFL Draft, it's time to wrap up the trenches with the offensive interior prospects in this class. Remember, I give you my top 10 in this video, but stick with me until the end, and I'll tell you some of the guys who just missed the list. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, where I love to have that nice, beautiful football discourse with you. Let's go ahead, get into this sucker with Christian Mahogany. That's right, out of Boston College, coming in at 6'3", 322. He was former 3-star recruit from the 2019 class. Redshirted his freshman year at Boston College. Then in 2020, started all 11 games at left guard. Moved over to right guard because of Zion Johnson was there in 2021. So to be fair, he played both guard spots phenomenally. However, he did have to miss the 2022 season because of an ACL injury prior to the season opener. I remember that right when my prospect rankings for the 2023 NFL draft class came out for the interior, and he was like number 5 or something on there, the ACL injury happened, and I was like, oh, that sucks so much. But he's back this year, and he's playing exceptionally well, mainly playing the right guard spot, but I think he's a guy you could play either side of the line at that guard position. And the dude is a mauler, man. He can easily overwhelm defenders with just a very, very explosive lower body, and he just continuously drives through contact, which I love, regardless of position. If you move your feet through contact, you're a-okay with me. He's kind of like a machine in that he's got a nice thick build, shows good core strength when taking on bull rushes. One of the best games that I noted that him having came when he went against Clemson in 2021, and that was a very impressive Clemson defensive line at the time, and he had a great game. And this is a dude that just can throw jarring blows. He's a road grader. He's received high praise from Jeff Hafley. He's kind of compared him to Zion Johnson in some regard. Now, coming off the ACL injury, a lot of people were worried that his production might slip, and it hasn't. It's been relatively similar to what it was in 2021. I will say he's a bit awkward in his stance. He's a little hunched over, but it hasn't really worked to his detriment, so probably something that's probably a non-worry. He does typically rely on his thick frame to contain quicker pass rushers, essentially saying, hey, you're gonna have to go around me. Oh, and I mean, the dude's solid. Dude's a good prospect, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know, like solid guard. I got a 4th round grade on him, and I think it's just maybe me in particular that's a bit lower on these in the interior offensive line in general, and I don't think that's fair, because like I think a lot of these guys on this list that I have will probably be top 100 guys, and it's just gonna have to figure out a way to fit those guys in my top 100, because I think they totally deserve it. Like a guy like Mahogany, I'd be willing to take somewhere in the 3rd round. He's just solid. He's just good in that regard. Don't know if I don't know. I don't think he's someone that you'd want in like a wide zone blocking scheme. So maybe more to those man blocking, power blocking type of concepts, but good prospect here nonetheless. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're gonna want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only 30 bucks by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment, and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet, so send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals, and guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase, and it's a great way to support the channel. At number 9, I have Donovan Jackson out of the Ohio State, coming in at 6'4", 320, former 5-star recruit. So this guy's got a pedigree to him. Was mainly a backup in 2021, and then last season started all 13 games, made first team All Big Ten, and probably gonna, I don't know, man. There's a lot of competition there in the Big Ten when it comes to the guard position. But he's gonna be in the run in there. He is rebounded exceptionally well. Like his one down game was Notre Dame, allowed 4 pressures, just got kind of dominated by the likes of Howard Cross and Riley Mills. But he's rebounded very well since that game. And man, I'm here thinking, does he return? Because it's not like he's gonna have an off-season process. And part of me thinks he will, because I think this is someone that can go higher. And I'm kind of curious because he's got ridiculous length, really good like movement skills, just a very good athlete. And I want to think, maybe can he kick it to maybe tackle? I don't know. That's just something that like sits in the back of my head. But like all in all, a dude that's very solid with his hands. He can sit in a phone booth and throw down defenders, or he can get on the run and just lay you 6 feet under. Well, I will say this, and I mean, this is just kind of true of the fact that he has struggled against very explosive pass rushers in pass protection. You go back to 2022, Jalen Carter, Adetomiwa Adebari. This season, Howard Cross. And I was gonna make the comparison. It was like, okay, it's these more explosive, smaller guys, but Jalen Carter is a 310-pound dude, but explosive nonetheless. But that's why I don't think he's like an elite level prospect. Another guy that's kind of floated in this like 3rd, 4th round tier for me. But I am kind of curious, does he end up returning to school? We shall see, I suppose. On number 8, I got Javion Cohen out of the U, Miami, baby. Love me my Hurricanes. Former 4-star recruit out of the 2022 class, coming in at 6'4", 305. Initially was at Alabama. That's right. As a freshman, he was mainly a reserve. And then in 2021, he started all 14 games at left guard, or started in 14 games at left guard. He did miss a game because of wrist injury. And then in 2022, started in 10 games at left guard. Came off the bench in the other 2. He would then announce, I think it was after the finale against Auburn, that he would transfer. He ends up going to Miami. Hey, my Hurricanes. And he's been phenomenal this season, only allowing 8 pressures, no sacks. He's been a part of that really good offensive line for the Hurricanes this season. And he's got good enough size. I wouldn't mind if he put on a little bit more weight, but not necessary. But the athleticism, the explosiveness for the position, it's there, man. It really, really is. He attacks with heavy hands. He can straight up demoralize smaller pass rushers. He's such a strong anchor. He does a good job of quickly resetting if he needs to, whether that's his anchor or his hands. He just maneuvers blockers well in the run game, takes really good angles, and like all in all, just a very good prospect. However, does get too aggressive sometimes in the pass or the run game, basically playing playing over his knees, playing too far ahead of himself, and leads to being off balance. So don't love to see that. Wish his hands could be a bit more active in pass protection. Like it's kind of strange, right? I think we could be getting a lot more than we get from Cohen, because I think he could be a lot more powerful in the run game without having to put himself in a situation where he's just overextended. So I mean, part of that is just not necessarily getting the best leverage. There are times you will see him, mainly in pass protection, having to put his head down. Like, I don't think he has a weak core by any means, but having to like kind of starting to waist bend a little bit and having to put his head down to kind of like try to like regain that leverage, and it just kind of leads you to not knowing what's going on around you. But Like all in all, Cohen, really good. Got a third round grade on him. I would consider him in the same tiers of guys as Donovan Jackson and Christian Mahogany. But here at 7 is where we take an actual jump to the next tier. And it's Christian Haynes out of Connecticut, coming in at 6'2", 313, having a phenomenal season, only allowing 4 pressures. Has allowed a sack, but we'll talk about that, and we'll just talk about his bad run of luck against NC State. But formerly a 2-star recruit from the 2018 class, redshirted his freshman season at UConn, started all 12 games at right guard. Connecticut canceled their season because of the Rona in 2020, but essentially he has been a starter at right guard for all of 4 straight seasons. Last year he made first team all independent. He's going to do it again this year. This dude is a smooth mover. I love the quick feet. He can cover a lot of ground, really easy, very little wasted movement from his hands or from his feet. He's quick out of his stance, typically the first at the point of attack. He's just very physical as a pass protector, plays with a good anchor, a good punch, loves his strikes, plays with that mentality the NFL loves, go and bury that defender 6 feet under. He just does that. Really good. However, there are times, despite his stout nature, again, coming in at 6'2", does struggle gaining and maintaining leverage, which I found kind of interesting. His technique has come a long way, and I think he's a lot more polished, a lot more put together than he was a year and a half ago. Now, his biggest struggles have come against Donovan Van, the NC State pass rusher. Kind of wild. Like, majority of his pressures allowed, and I think the only sack he allowed in the last 2 years have been courtesy of Devin Van. So, kind of wild. Just kind of blows my mind there. He has the penalties down this season. Huge plus. Again, this is kind of like that next tier. I'm looking at this cat probably as maybe a top 75 prospect. Along with number 6, Zach Zittner, out of the Michigan, coming in at 6'6", 332. You look at that size, like, wow, he's pretty tall for an interior player. You would be correct. He is pretty tall for an interior player. But former 4-star recruit from the 2020 class. He was the ISL shot put state champion and New England State shot put champion as a junior. He holds his high school's record in the shot put. He won a MIAA Division I shot put twice, and he also won the discus state titles as a sophomore. So this man, his track and field background is noted. It really is. He played in 6 games in the shortened season of 2020 with 4 starts at right guard. And then he had 12 starts at right guard in 2021, 14 in 2022. And he's well on his way to start every game once again here at right guard for the Wolverines. Now, this cat, he's got the flexibility to continue. Like he has shown he can win the leverage game. Like he can sink his hips and get down low. But him being a taller, especially taller interior player, you're gonna worry if he can do that consistently. However, he's got a good girth to him. He plays with good depth. Like you love the flexibility he plays with, how low he plays with. He packs a lot of power in his frame. Like a lot of people put this up on Twitter of him just, I think it was last season, just demolishing 2 Penn State defenders. Like got one, looked, I don't think he pointed, but in my head, it's like he not destroys one, points at the other, and just rocks the other. Pretty sure the point wasn't involved though, but I know that's going around Twitter. Like this dude literally plays with a mean streak, does a nice job generating a push at the initial point of attack, and you just love it, man. Plays with violent hands and has a relatively good understanding of blocking angles and just good awareness of understanding what's going on, not just the job at hand, but what's going on around him. I will say, not the most athletic guy in here. Like, doesn't always display the agility or the foot speed to effectively get around as a pulling guard. Sometimes you'll see him struggle in space. I just don't think that's his game. kind of is what it is. He's going to be right for some schemes and some systems, but this dude's one heck of a good football player. Going on to number 5, we got Cedric Van Pran Granger. I think he took his mother's last name. But coming out of Georgia, he was a 4-star recruit from the 2020 class, coming in here at 6'4", 310. He also competed in track and field in high school, placing 7th in the shot put, and that was with a toss of 47 feet and 10.5 inches. So that's a distance. That's a distance. He was also a regional runner-up in the shot put and qualified in the discus and javelin. So another guy. I mean, typically these offensive linemen, you're going to see them take a part in the field portion of track and field. He played in 3 games as a reserve in 2020, but became the full-time starter in 2021, where he actually had the most percentage of snaps than any other Bulldog on the team. Wild. Once again, started all 15 games last season, decided to return, and he's well on his way doing it again. We've seen like a slow progression from him year in and year out, and he's just a guy trending in the right direction. Very explosive athlete, very good foot speed. You love when he gets to the second level, just how he climbs the second level, plays with a big motor, kind of ideal for today's like wide zone blocking scheme. He plays with a good understanding of blocking angles, gets out of space quickly. He's just very, very effective at washing defenders out of the way and creating those running lanes. Does a good job of getting his anchor. He shows good core strength. Never really gonna see this guy get bent backwards. And he does possess that NFL mentality, which I feel like you kind of have to if you're playing offensive line for Georgia. You just kind of have that killer instinct in you. Will say though, there are a lot of times you find him on the ground too often. Like he does like to lunge. He does like to overextend, especially if you got him as if you're pulling him as a blocker, which I mean, center, you're not gonna often see that, but you will see that sometimes. He does sometimes struggle to sustain blocks in the run game. Part of that is a lack of upper body strength and ideal length. So I'm curious how he's going to measure out. But like all in all, like balance issues are probably the big in his game. Like for the most part, you look at his skill set and you're very happy. Especially again in today's game, he is just very nice. So this is where I'm going to say we take another jump in tier, because I think these next 4 guys are just the bees freaking knees. Let's go to number 4. It's Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon, coming in at 6'3", 320, who was formerly a 4-star recruit from the 2021 class, and he was one of the top center recruits in all of the country. He also played baseball and wrestling in high school. So last season at Oregon, he had in 2021, he had 3 starts as a freshman, with it being at right guard, left guard, and funny enough, on the defensive side of the football, at nose tackle. So I kind of like that. Started nose tackle in the bowl game. And then in 2022, I think he only had 1 start in 2022. He was mainly kind of heavily used in the rotation. He had 1 start. Yeah, he only had 1 start at right tackle, but he played 400 snaps. This is a wild thing, with a majority of them coming at right guard. But this season, he has started every game at center, and he has been flipping wonderful, elite. Like, this guy is an ascendant prospect. If he decides to stay another year, like, we're talking, I think we got a 1st-round center on our hands. Like, I feel like he's that good. Like, he is pure meat and power. He can displace 300-pounders with ease, just with that sheer strength. You just see that power all along his frame. He's got that mean streak. Like, total opposite of their former center, what was it, Alex Forsyth? Total opposite, because I wasn't a big fan of Forsyth. I'm a huge fan of JPJ here. Like, this guy is just oozing everything I love on the interior. He fires out of his stance quickly, plays with a good pad level, does a nice job of comboing up blocks, very high-end experience along the defense or the offensive interior, and part of me feels like he can, like, you could plug and play him at all three interior spots. I really do feel that. Will say he can pull block, but quicks and foot speed aren't that high end. Like, he will land blocks out in space, but I don't think he's going to be like the most agile mover in this class. I would say he's more comfortable moving forward than he is backwards. He is kind of helped by a quick passing game there at Oregon, but the penalties, they're up there. 6 penalties on the season. Like, and a lot of that is like holding calls in the pass game. Again, I think he's more comfortable going forward than he is dropping back in pass protection. But this dude's only a true junior. And I just see his arrow going up, man. Just see it going up. At number 3, I got Troy Fatanu out of Washington. Fun fact, he's currently playing tackle for Washington. But we'll get to that in a second. Coming in at 6'4", 317, former 4-star recruit from the 2019 class. And he redshirted his freshman season and didn't see playing time really until 2021, where he had 3 starts, 2 at left tackle, 1 at left guard. And then last season he had 13 starts, 12 at left tackle, 1 at left guard. Made third team All Pac-12. This season he has started every game at left tackle. And I mean, sometimes that's college football, you know. They're gonna put their best players at tackle. And I just think he profiles better as a guard at the NFL level, man. Just happens to be stuck at tackle and actually playing pretty darn well there at tackle. Very agile mover, gets to the second level quickly, gets out of his stance quickly. You love the foot speed. Very stout at the point of attack, uses his hands exceptionally well. His hands are precise, and he'll latch on and lock up with defenders in engagement. Just, he will control engagement. Phone booth type of blocker, and shows very good upper body strength in doing so. I will say, does get when moving as a blocker, he's a bit of a lunger. Is what it is. We could say that about a lot of the guys in this class. And while I like that he's an agile mover, I think he has decent quick speed. I'm not going to say it's elite foot speed, and that's kind of what makes me think he makes the jump to guard rather than staying at tackle in the NFL. That's just what I'm thinking. Because, I mean, there are times where he will just kind of leave himself open, thinking he has to quickly get out on his kick slide, and he just kind of opens himself up to the inside move, and you'll catch him off balance, or you'll catch him probably get in a holding call against him. But I just think he makes the move from tackle to guard. And you know what? We're going to talk about actually the next 2 guys. Are guys that are either have played tackle or are currently playing tackle that I think probably profile better as guards at the next level. But let's go ahead. Let's talk about number 2, Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State, coming in at 335, 6'4". There we go. Got it right. Was initially out of the 2019 recruiting class, was a former 3-star recruit, was originally a defensive tackle, but made the move to offensive line when he arrived at Kansas State. Also played basketball and competed in the shot put, placing 3rd in state in 2017. And big boys love to do the shot put. Redshirted his freshman season at Kansas State, and then in 2020 he started the first 7 games at right tackle before moving to left guard for the final game. And then in 2021 he started all 13 games at left tackle and was named first team All Big 12. And then last year he made the move to guard. I thought he looked stellar, thought he would come out. Like, I pegged this dude for a 2nd or 3rd round pick for the guard position, and he decides not to. And I was like, okay, that's unusual. That's a little weird, but it is what it is. He's having another phenomenal season here at left guard. He has had a couple of snaps at left tackle when they need him to, or when they scheme him to. The dude's been great. Like, he's actually pretty light for a 330 pounder. He is very athletic for his build, but he still packs all that power, packs a punch, plays with good balance. He can overwhelm defenders from the get-go. At the point of attack, he has very strong hands, strong grip. One of my favorite sayings is, if you get stuck being his dancing partner, then you're stuck dancing with him for the whole song. Like his grip strength is that impressive. He's got that nasty mentality to lay guys 6 feet under. Coaches praise him about his work ethic. Very disciplined with his technique, and this dude hardly ever lost, even when he was playing tackle in 2021. He only allowed 10 pressures back in 2021 playing tackle. Just phenomenal. Will say when he does lose, it's typically him being laid off the snap or playing high, losing leverage. Those things are kind of few and far between, but they are things you will notice on his game. As a run blocker, he can get a bit aggressive and turn into say it with me, a lunger. Yes. I still think maybe he looks more at home at guard when sliding in pass protection than he did at tackle. That's a plus. Again, this guy's a guard at the next level. But number 1 is Graham Barton out of Duke. A lot of people are going to probably still have him as a tackle in this class. And I honestly think he could probably play wherever he wants, potentially. But former 3-star recruit coming out of the 2020 class. Also played lacrosse. No track and field. Coming in at 6'5", 314. He played in the final 6 games of his freshman year with 5 starts at center. And then he moved to left tackle. He moved to left tackle in 2021, and he was actually kind of good. And then in 2022, stayed at left tackle, and he was really good. First team All ACC. Playing left tackle this season, I'm kind of sad that he was hurt for the Notre Dame game. That was kind of going to be one of the big games. I really wanted to see how he handled, but he just got done playing Florida State this past week. Only allowed 1 pressure. To be fair, that game, because they had a hurt and hampered Riley Leonard, a lot of that was schemed to get the ball out quick, and I don't know, man. I felt like I didn't really get much of anything from that game, but is what it is. I think he could probably play, again, any spot on the offensive line. Like, he was recruited initially as a guard, but played center in his freshman season, and then has been tackled the last 3 seasons. Like, this cat, I confidently think he could probably play wherever the heck he wants. He's got that versatility. Shows really good movement skills, explodes out of his stance. He will get out in front of screens and stretch plays with bad intentions. And you just love that. You love his ability to mirror defenders in the passing game. Plays with good hand placement and hand usage. He anchors well enough to keep defenders from pushing the pocket, and he uses good angles when climbing upfield. Thing is, why I think he probably, why I moved him from tackle, because again, I'm probably seeing him center. I think he's probably a center prospect. Yeah, because a little tall for center. I mean, again, this dude's probably playing wherever the heck he wants. There are times he does overextend, trying to get to the point of attack first. A lot of that is just a lack of length, which not the end all be all, man. If he ends up testing really well, like guys like Peter Skronsky, or we've had Pinesul, you have had Rashawn Slater, who they didn't have the most ideal length, but because they were such just phenomenal athletes, you could let them be out there at tackle, and I think he's gonna need that, because if not, he's probably moving to the interior. He doesn't keep his feet moving on strikes and can get caught having to make up ground. This usually results in him having to ride defenders past the pocket. I do like his ability to recover, but I think he can avoid that all in all. So all in all, phenomenal prospect. Some people have a first round grade on him. I'm not there with him. I have him as a top 40 prospect, just not a maybe a guy I'd take in the first round. Maybe at the back end, kind of depends on the team. But let's talk about some of the guys who just missed the list. And I got to talk about my boy, Bo Limmer. He's in the same tier right now as guys like Javion Cohen, Donovan Jackson, Christian Mahogany. He's just not having an ideal season this year at center. He played guard the last couple of seasons, and he was making the move to center, and it's just come with mixed results this season. It really, really has. I still love this cat as a prospect, but I don't think he's someone you could start early at center. Maybe at guard though, because like again, his guard tape is just from 2022. I got Zach Frazier here from West Virginia. A lot of people really do like this cat. I'm just like, I'm not blown away by him. Like, he's productive. He's a good technician. It's just, I kind of feel like his power and his athletics are kind of fine. That's about it. So like, some people have him like pretty high up. I think probably gonna have him as a top 150 definitely, but he's gonna be somewhere around that top 125 for me, maybe when it's all said and done. Bryce Foster, he's fallen off the map. He's probably returned to school. Don't really need to talk about him. Shoot, man, we could say the same. We could actually, Isaiah Adams right now for Illinois. The dude's been putting out bad games because they're making him play tackle. This guy's a guard, man, and I'm hoping his draft stock doesn't get sunk because of that crap, man. I liked what I saw from him last year. It's just, he's not a tackle, he's a guard, and they're just putting him in a bad situation. There's Mason McCormick out of South Dakota State. Dude's just a freaking cannonball, mauler. Like, dude's throwing haymakers. He's stupid strong. I think he plays with decent foot quickness. Not necessarily the fastest or most athletic guy out there, but he's a decently smooth mover. I'm just kind of curious. How he'll look in pass pro against better competition. Kind of my biggest I wonder. But the dude's gonna get an all-star circuit, and I can't wait to see him there. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, let me know what you think in the comment section below, because that's where we have that nice football discourse. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.